Well, the Republicans are at it again. While millions of Americans are still unemployed and the country crosses 5 million COVID cases, Trump and the Senate Republicans continue to screw us. Other developed countries across the globe have been taking care of their citizens since the pandemic started by providing what's also known as a stimulus relief fund. The U.S.? Well, not so much. Let's take a look at the numbers in U.S. currency. Australia, $996.65 every 2 weeks. Canada, $2,000 every month. Denmark, up to $3,288 a month. France, up to $7,575 a month. Germany, $7,326 a month. Ireland, up to $1,793 a month. United Kingdom, up to a total of $3,084 a month. As of now, these relief packages will be available from March 15, 2020 to October 3, 2020. In the United States, we received a one-time payment of $1,200 to last us the entire pandemic. A pandemic that could last up to 2 years. Oh, and it gets better. Trump and his Senate Republicans want to also defund Social Security and Medicare, dismantle the Postal Service, give more tax breaks for the 1%, and give more corporate welfare for defense contractors. Bernie's right. The Republicans must be defeated this November. Too bad the DNC and the entire establishment rigged the election to give us the man who loves having kids on his lap.
And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Oh, and did I mention he almost fought a guy named Corn Pop?
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys.
We went from almost having this as a nominee to this.
I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun.
You can't sit there and tell me Joe Biden is more electable than this.
Now, what we're talking about actually is stability. That when you have a Medicare for all, it is there now and will be there in the future.
Anyways, Trump is defunding unemployment benefits by signing an executive order to decrease payments from $600 a week to $400 a week. It's being cut by a third. I'm not a scientist, but $600 was barely enough for Americans to get by, let alone $400 a week. These benefit cuts will also affect 30 million Americans. Meanwhile, 467 billionaires made $730 billion as of right now during this pandemic. And just like Bernie said, this is the looting that must end. My version of Making America Great is enabling programs and passing executive orders that help all Americans. My America also doesn't charge people $1.1 million for a 6-week stay in a hospital. And yes, it's more common than you might think.
But Michael, Bernie is a communist. And if you want a communist country, go elsewhere.
And yes, that's an actual quote someone told me when they found out I support Bernie Sanders. Why do I support Bernie Sanders? Well, a great example is because he recently introduced legislation to tax the obscene wealth gains of billionaires during the pandemic. It's also known as the Make Billionaires Pay Act. Sanders co-sponsored the legislation with Democratic Senators Kristen Gillibrand and Ed Markey. The legislation is aimed to tax 60% of the increase in the net worth of the nation's wealthiest people, starting from March 18th through the end of 2020. And before you cry for them, it's a one-time tax. Maybe you forgot, but the economic collapse caused by the pandemic has forced 50 million Americans to apply for unemployment benefits. It doesn't take someone with a bachelor's degree like myself to know that the American people are getting the short end of the stick here.
But Michael, why is he taxing these innocent billionaires? It's just not fair.
The revenue gained from the tax will be used to guarantee Medicare to every American for an entire year. The legislation would still leave billionaires approximately $310.1 billion in wealth gains as of August 2020. Jeff Bezos would make a one-time payment of $42.8 billion. Estimates place Bezos' net worth at $185.8 billion. Tesla CEO Elon Musk would be taxed $27.5 billion. Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg would be taxed $22.8 billion, and the Walton family, who own Walmart, would be taxed $12.9 billion. Sanders' plan would generate $421.7 billion just from March to August. Imagine adding 4 more months of tax income. So many Americans would benefit from it. And yes, I do know that both chambers of Congress need to approve the bill for it to become law. And with the Republicans controlling the Senate, it's going to be nearly impossible for this to pass. So when you wonder why I'm so pissed at Trump and the Republicans, this is why. Bernie has also proposed another legislation which he co-sponsored with Democratic Senators Kamala Harris and Ed Markey to give every American $2,000 a month for the rest of the pandemic. So with a show of hands, how many of you would benefit from either of these legislations? Yeah, that's what I thought. This is Mike G, signing off.